At this time, it is my pleasure to bring forward our platform guest of the hour, Mr. Kondwani Fidel Russell Jr., featured writer, spoken word artist, and speaker that we are privileged to have serve on the faculty here as Assistant Professor of English. While his biographical sketch is provided in the program for your review, Mr. Russell has performed for various audiences, including noted elected federal and local government officials, iconic and legendary political and entertainment figures, and most importantly, he gives back through his gifts to elementary and college-age students. At this time, it is my pleasure to bring to you Mr. Kondwani Fidel Russell Jr. to share his gift of inspiration, voice, and agency with us today in his way. Mr. Russell.
Thank you. When I was a kid, I used to get straight A's on all of my report cards. And I was the star of the family because everybody just believed that, I was in love with academia, and it just wasn't true. I was getting straight A's on my report card because my Aunt Sadiq was giving me $20 for every A that I would receive. So $100+ in the late 90s and 2000s is a lot of money. Like when an ice cream truck came through, I'm buying the entire block. You get a cone, you get sprinkles, right? Like I felt like Oprah in those moments, right? Like, you know what I mean? But once my aunt stopped giving me that money, I still did well in school because that's what my grandmother required, and I kind of just became conditioned to do so, right? And around the time I got to high school, I encountered some of the most troubling times I ever faced at that period of my life. Both of my parents were in and out of prison, just dealing with some of the things that come with, growing up in East Baltimore, and I needed an escape, right? And I went to college, and I went to Virginia State, and I was studying sport management. And, because of the community there and the, strong professors and, the people that I was hanging out on campus with, I fell in love with reading, fell in love with writing, changed my major from sport management to English. And, in those moments, where all of these great things were happening in these communities that kind of always get overshadowed, I was thinking, the mainstream media has only showcased Baltimore, through the lens of criminality and violence without any truthful context as to, how these realities were created, right? And truthful accounts of who we are and what we mean as a city are rarely encountered in the media. And if it is, it often minimizes our experiences, and they water down and they commodify. And they try their hardest to leave us in the darkness. And through it all, the sun still shines and the birds still sing. And it's the students and the young people in this city who hug and hold that light. It's the students who sing their songs. It's the students who give spectators ears and eyes. It's the students who are clear about the world, but who also had the ability to reimagine a world, which I believe is a courageous act, especially in a country that constantly promotes conformity. What if we lived in a world that showed the power of all of the communities that helped me get to where I am today, right? It's an American manifesto to, I got it out the mud by myself, no help, you're lying, right? Like we all are community made, but a lot of times we fear speaking about the people who helped us get to where we are because the world told us that there's no value in our community, right? What if they often show communities like Coppin State that embraces all pockets of Baltimore, our surrounding cities and the other cities in the world that want to be connected to us, whether it's through a relative or something they seen on TV, or because, we have great programs here. Toni Morrison, who's one of my favorite writers of all time, she has a quote where she says, "The fact is, the future is not yours for the taking, and it is not whatever you make of it. The future is also what other people make of it, how others will participate in it and impinge on your experience of it." And that quote reminds me of what we have here at Coppin and how we are all reflections of one another. We all struggled in various ways in our past that helped mold us, but the beauty lies within the moment today because it is evident that we outlived those struggles. And not only did we outlive those struggles, but we're smart enough and strong enough to analyze them and say to ourselves, I need to do better. I deserve better. We know that these systems of oppression are powerful, right? But how powerful are we? That we overcome obstacles thrown at us every single day, right? And more importantly, we do it when no one is looking. We do it when no cameras are present. We do it outside of viral moments. You know, there have been times in all of our lives where we've allowed people and places to pin and prick holes in us, which caused our light to seep out. But Coppin is that clay of community that has the power to patch up those holes. This institution has housed and produced some of the world's greatest scholars, writers, athletes, nurses, lawyers, fashion designers, nail techs, wig makers, tattoo artists, whatever you want to name, right or wrong. Right or wrong. We see it every day. We see it every day. While entering this new chapter of y'all lives, you know, y'all must build community. And, you know, building community isn't an accessory, but it's a necessity. I believe that the most liberating thing that young people and students can do is take that academic freedom into their own hands, take advantage of that academic future. Huey P. Newton once said, the young always inherit the revolution. And for some students out there, I know the weight of the world is a pain you didn't ask for. Some days you'll be Goliath, and on others you'll fall to the ground. Keep it moving even if you have to crawl on miles of cut glass. Your scars will remind you that you made it. Your scars will remind you that you're human. They will remind you that you're strong. And when you get to the end of the road, your favorite victory song will play in your head and you'll celebrate. The journey seemed impossible at one point, but you realize you did in fact travel the right way. We got to continue to show one another the power we have in our wings so we can fly and snatch every door off the hinges and accept those lovely people and places who impinge on our existence in some form or fashion. We all made it through the trenches. We encounter fences that was built to keep us roses caged in, but we always find ways to navigate in the mazes we've been placed in. Some days the pendulum will swing in your favor, and on others it will swing in the favor of your opposite. And every time this world gives you a gift, even if it's a smile on your worst days, pocket it, save it, put it in a safe place, deposit it. Congratulations, Coppin State University. I'm glad to be a part of what we have here. Thank you.